Post 1. When I was 8, my grandmother killed my parents. Not literally, they were at a wedding. But in my head, in my brother's head, in my little sister's head, they died on the highway and burned to a crisp. Because that's what she told us. I'm 20 now, and my stomach still flips when I try to put this into words. I keep thinking I'm being dramatic, and then I remember the sound my brother made when my parents walked through the door and he thought they were ghosts. Some background. My dad, 35 at the time, and my mom, 33, almost never went anywhere alone. No weekly date nights, no rotating babysitters. If they went out, it was groceries. Then dad's college friend invited them to an out of town, no kids wedding. Big venue, late night, open bar. The plan was simple: leave Friday morning, come back Sunday around 7 p.m. 2 nights. We needed childcare. My mom's parents aren't in the picture. My aunt had a newborn, so that left my dad's mom, Linda. At that point, Grandma was complicated but not scary. She was the fun one who brought candy, who made too many comments about my mom's cooking, who cried at every school concert like it was a funeral. She believed she knew best. She could guilt trip, but I wasn't afraid of her. When my parents asked if she'd have us for the weekend, she got bright-eyed in a way that should have been a warning. Finally, she said, real time with my grandbabies, not just rushed visits. Mom left a binder on the counter with our routines. On the front, in big letters, we'll be back Sunday around 7 p.m. She knelt and told us, 2 sleeps, then we're right back. My brother Max, 5, was excited about extra screen time. My baby sister Lucy, 3, just kept chanting, Gamma House. I watched my parents drive away and got that twisty feeling you get before a sleepover. Nervous, but normal. Friday was fine. Pancakes, movies, the yard. It felt like a sleepover with a slightly bossy adult. The weird part started Saturday. At first, it was clinginess. When are Mom and Dad coming back? Max asked every hour. Tomorrow, Grandma kept saying. Tomorrow night. Why can't we call them? I asked. They're busy, she said. They're at a party. They don't want to be bothered. By afternoon, Max was spiraling. What if the car crashes? He asked. Cars crash sometimes. He's always been anxious. My mom usually handled it with, we're careful, the odds are low, we're coming back. Grandma did not do that. She sighed, loud and annoyed. Cars crash all the time, she said. People die every day. That's life. My chest went cold. Don't say that, I told her. They're coming back Sunday. I pointed at the binder like it was a contract. She rolled her eyes. Plans change, she said. Nothing is guaranteed. Max's eyes filled. What if they did die? He whispered. Max, I said, stop. I was scared too, and his questions were making it worse. He started crying. He wanted Mom. He wanted to go home. He wanted to call them. He grabbed Grandma's sleeve and kept repeating, call them, call them, call them. Lucy joined in for no real reason other than the vibes. Mama, mama, mama. Grandma was making dinner, and you could see it happening on her face. Mouth pinched, shoulders up. She tried shushing. She tried snapping. She tried, enough, you're giving Grandma a headache. They didn't stop. They were 5 and 3 and terrified. I said, please, can we call, just once? Grandma slammed the spoon down so hard sauce splattered the stove. Stop, she shouted. We all froze. I had never heard her yell like that. For a second, she just stood there, chest heaving, staring at us. Her eyes were bright in a way that wasn't just anger. It was sharp, almost satisfied, like we had finally handed her the big dramatic moment. You want the truth so badly? She snapped. Fine. Your parents are dead. The room went very quiet. What? I said. Her voice went cold and hard, the way grown-ups talk when they're done pretending to be kind. There was an accident, she said. On the highway. The police called me. We were already with her. That should have been my clue, but I was 8. They're gone. Do you understand now why they're not picking up their phone? Max made this high animal sound I've never heard from a person before. Lucy started sobbing. For a heartbeat, Grandma just watched us, like she was taking inventory of our faces. That's not funny, I said. My whole body went hot and cold. That's not funny. I'm not joking, she said. Cars crash. People die. It happens. Your parents are dead. You're going to live with me now. No, no. She said it like she was telling us what was for dinner. No buildup, no, I'm so sorry. Just, they're dead, and here's the plan. My brain went white. How? I asked. When? Yesterday, she said without blinking. On the way there, a drunk driver hit them. The police called Grandma. I didn't tell you last night because I didn't want to upset you before bed. I've been trying to make this nice for you. There was this weird defensive pride in her voice, like she expected credit for how she'd handled it. I remember thinking, last night I was eating popcorn while they were dead. The shame hit me even before the grief. Max was sobbing so hard he couldn't breathe. Did it hurt? He kept asking. Are they in heaven? Are they burned? Yes, it hurt, Grandma said, sharp and impatient. Dying hurts. They're not suffering now. Stop whining and listen, because we have things to sort out. And then she did the part I can't explain to people without sounding insane. She started touring us through our new lives. Your bed can go right here, she told me, patting the spare room wall. We'll talk to the school down the street Monday. You'll make new friends. To Max. We'll find you a new soccer team. There's a field nearby. To Lucy. This will be your room. We'll paint it your favorite color once everything is settled. She sounded almost upbeat when she said settled, like she was already redecorating us in her head. I clung to the binder in my mind. We'll be back Sunday around 7 p.m. That's wrong, I said, desperate. Mom wrote it down. She said 2 sleeps. Grandma's mouth curled. She didn't know she was going to die when she wrote that, she said. Paper doesn't stop trucks. Life is fragile. Something in me broke clean through. It wasn't just fear. It was humiliation and guilt and horror all braided together. My last words to my dad had been, "Don't forget my book order form." My last words to my mom were probably, "Do I have to hug you in front of the neighbors?" Now, according to the only adult in the house, they were dead on the road while I was sulking about a sleepover. I asked questions I didn't want answers to. Did the car catch on fire? Did they call you from the ambulance? Were they wearing their seatbelts? She answered in clipped, righteous little sentences. Yes, it was bad. No, they couldn't call. They were unconscious. Yes, they wore seatbelts. That doesn't always save you. At some point, she softened, not about the lie, but about herself. You're lucky you have me, she said. Some kids don't have anyone. You have a home. You'll be safe with Grandma. You'll understand one day. We cried until we had nothing left. She put on a movie like that would fix it. I remember staring at cartoons thinking, I don't deserve to laugh when my parents are dead. Every time I sniffed, I could feel her watching from the doorway, like our grief was exhausting, but also validating. By the time Sunday rolled around, I had lived a full day and a half in a world where I was an orphan and my grandmother was the only adult left. When my parents actually walked through the door Sunday night, I thought I was hallucinating. Dad called, bright and normal. Hey guys, we're home. The sound that came out of me wasn't human. It was a shriek and a sob mashed together. You're not real, I said. Grandma said you died. She said there was a crash and the police called and we live here now. Max collapsed. Lucy clung to Mom's legs, screaming, no die, over and over. My mom's face went past pale into something close to gray. What did you tell them? She asked Grandma. Her voice was flat in a dangerous way. For a split second, before she schooled her expression, I saw something ugly flicker over Grandma's face. Pure annoyance that her scene had been ruined. Then she smoothed it into wounded confusion. Oh, for goodness sake, she said. They wouldn't stop screaming for you. I tried to comfort them. I told them life is fragile, that sometimes accidents happen, that they'd be safe with me. She told us you were dead, I said. She said a drunk driver hit you. She said you burned. My dad looked like someone punched him in the chest. You told them we were dead? Mom said, almost whispering. You watched them believe it? They're fine, Grandma snapped. Kids cry. I was exhausted. I may have said it more directly than I meant to, but they have to learn that bad things happen. We trusted you, Mom said. We trusted you with our children. And I took care of them, Grandma shot back. I fed them, I played with them, I let them stay up late. You're acting like I hit them. I told them the truth. You lied, I said. My voice sounded small. You said the police called. You said they were gone. She turned on me. You are twisting my words, young lady. Your mother is putting ideas in your head. That's about when my parents hustled us out the door. Grandma was still protesting when Dad carried Max to the car. Mom buckled Lucy in with shaking hands. She cried silently the whole drive home. That night, we all slept in my parents' bed. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw twisted metal. I woke up over and over to make sure they were still there, still breathing. In the morning, Mom and Dad sat us down at the kitchen table. We are so sorry Grandma scared you, Mom said. What she did was wrong. You are safe. We are alive. We are not going anywhere. Dad looked like he'd aged 10 years. You never have to stay with her again, he said. Not if you don't want to. Not ever. They told us Grandma wouldn't be seeing us for a while, that they needed to think about what was best. At 8, for a while sounded like forever. They put us in therapy. They stopped taking her calls, at least at first. Extended family exploded. Adults yelled into phones and hissed behind closed doors. Certain names made the air go heavy. Now, 12 years later, my dad sees his mother again. My siblings see her sometimes. There were secret visits, arguments, compromises I never got to vote on. I've never gone back. My parents say it's my choice now. My dad tries not to show it, but I can feel him wanting me to move on, so he doesn't have to be the only bridge between us. I know some people think it was one mistake, and I'm punishing an old woman. But I keep going back to that weekend where, in my head, my parents died because my grandmother got annoyed we wouldn't stop asking for them, and on some level enjoyed how shattered we were once she told us the truth. So, am I the jerk for refusing to have any relationship with my grandmother, even now that I'm an adult and my dad swears she meant well? Update 1. People keep saying, it was one bad weekend. Don't let it define your whole life. I wish it were that simple. For months, I couldn't sleep unless I heard both my parents breathing. If my mom went to the grocery store and didn't text back fast, my heart would slam like someone was about to knock on the door with news. The quieter scars show up in how I still check exits in every room, memorize routes without trying, and still, at 20, send my mom a home text if she hasn't replied in a couple of hours. The first year after the incident was chaos. Mom put all 3 of us in therapy. The psychologist had toys and a couch that swallowed you, and she talked like we were unexploded bombs. She asked us to draw what happened at Grandma's. Max drew a car on fire. Lucy drew scribbles and said, "Mommy, go boom," which made the psychologist go very still. I drew our house split in half. One side had my parents and us. The other side had Grandma under a speech bubble. If they die. The psychologist used phrases like betrayal trauma, fancy ways of saying, when the person you're supposed to trust uses your fear as a prop, your brain rewires. Meanwhile, Grandma turned herself into a martyr. She called my dad constantly. At first, he didn't pick up. His phone would buzz, he'd stare, then flip it over like it burned. Eventually, he started answering, always in the margins, taking out the trash, sitting in the car, out on the back porch at night. He'd come back looking wrung out and guilty. I started listening. I heard enough of his side to fill in hers. Mom, I know. No, they're not ready. Yes, I told you that was wrong. No, Aaron isn't turning them against you. Please don't cry. Every mom made something in my chest clench. I felt bad for him. He was stuck between a wife who was done and a mother who would never admit she'd done anything wrong. But every time he soothed her, it felt like choosing her. About 6 months after it happened, I finally said that out loud. We were at the kitchen table. Mom was sorting mail. Dad said casually, "My mother called today." Mom went rigid. "What did you tell her?" "That we're still taking a break," he said. "That you and the kids need time." I slammed my pencil down. "You're still talking to her?" I said. "Why?" "She's my mother," Dad said. "That doesn't change because she made a mistake." "Mistake? A mistake is forgetting to pick us up from school," I said. "She told us you were dead. We mourned you." Dad's face tightened. "I am allowed to talk to my own mother. You don't get to tell me who I can speak to." "And I am allowed not to trust you anymore?" I shot back. He stared. "You don't trust me?" "Not with her," I said. "Not when it comes to her." After that, something between Dad and me shifted for good. No big blow up, just hairline fractures. He'd say, "Grandma loves you," and my stomach would not. If a TV show had a sweet grandparent, he'd glance at me like he was checking a wound. The therapist tried to mediate. It might help to separate your father's relationship with his mother from your relationship with her. They're not separate, I said. He defends her. He keeps the door cracked. That feels like choosing her. Dad sat there, hands clenched. I'm not choosing her over you. I'm trying to hold both. She did something awful. She's also my mom. Then she can be your mom, I said, and I can be the kid who doesn't go back. Outside pressure started too. Aunts. Your grandma's heartbroken. Church ladies. Kids need grandparents. People called it sad. A misunderstanding. Different generation. Nobody said trauma. They just wanted the noise to stop. I built rituals nobody saw. When my parents left together, I got an ETA. If they were late, panic. Mom understood. Dad tried, but there was always a gap where my fear hid his need not to see his mother as that bad. That's where the trust frayed for good. Update 2. The first time my dad put us on the phone with my grandmother after that weekend, it was betrayal dressed up as a park day. I was 10. From the outside, life looked normal again. School, sports, fewer nightmares. We didn't say Grandma's name. She was just a silence we walked around. One Sunday, Dad suggested the park. Just the four of us, he said. Mom's got a migraine. Let's give her some quiet. Mid-afternoon, his phone rang. He checked the screen and his face tightened. Who is it? I asked, already knowing. Just someone, he said. Go push Max on the swing, okay? I'll be right over. I listened to him walk away and say, Hey, Mom. My chest went cold. Then I heard, Do you want to say hi to them? He waved me over. Grandma wants to say hi, just for a minute. I'm right here. I took the phone because I was 10 and still trying to be a good kid. Hello? Sharp inhale. Oh, sweetheart, she said. It's Grandma. I've missed you. I haven't slept. I can't eat. I think about you every day. Guilt, instant and heavy. How are you? She asked. Are you still scared of Grandma? Loaded question. I'm fine, I lied. We're at the park. I never meant to scare you, she said. Your mother blew it out of proportion. I love you more than anything. Do you still love me? My brother and sister were spinning on the merry-go-round. My dad was watching me. The pressure behind my eyes built. I didn't know how to say, I don't know, so I said nothing. Dad took the phone back. Okay, Mom, they've got to go play. I'll talk to you later. He hung up and looked at me, hopeful. That wasn't so bad, he said. She just wanted to hear your voice. You told me I didn't have to see her again, I said. You're not seeing her? He said. It was a phone call. I was right here. Mom will be mad, I said. He flinched. She doesn't have to know. She's still upset. I'm trying not to make it worse. That was the first line he crossed that I can timestamp. Not the first fracture, just the first one with a place and a time. Park, swings, a secret. A few months later, he did the thing I'd been scared of since that call. He took us back to Grandma's house. It started as another park day. We did go to the playground for 20 minutes. Then he checked his watch. Hey, want to go see the old swing set at Grandma's? He said. Just for a bit. I'll be with you the whole time. I don't want to, I said. Come on, he said. She's been better. 1 hour. If you're uncomfortable, we leave. He already had his hands tight on the wheel. He'd already decided. By the time we pulled onto her street, my hands were shaking. Same peeling paint. Same crooked mailbox. It felt like driving past a crime scene. He parked. It's going to be fine. It wasn't fine last time, I said. You left us here and came back to kids who thought you were dead. I'm not leaving you, he said. If she says one weird thing, we leave. I promise. Promises about her didn't mean much anymore. I'm not going in, I said. Take them if you want. I'm staying in the car. He stared at me, then sighed like I was being difficult. You're the oldest, he said. You can handle it. That sentence is a whole childhood in one line. Being the oldest doesn't make me the test subject, I said. He went inside with Max and Lucy. I sat in the car for an hour, staring at the front window, imagining her voice. Do you still love Grandma? Life is fragile. When they came back, the kids had cookies. They were stiff, but laughing. She was fine, Dad said quickly. She apologized. No scary stories. See, it was okay. At dinner, Lucy chirped, Grandma has the same cookies as last time. The silence at the table was loud. Mom turned to Dad. You took them to your mother's house? In the daytime, he said. With me. 1 hour. Mom looked at me. Did you go? No, I said. I stayed in the car. Her eyes closed like that hurt. That night they fought behind their bedroom door. Words bled through the walls. Undermining, trust, our kids, your mother. The next day, Dad came to my room. I'm sorry, he said. I shouldn't have sprung it on you. I don't know how to live in a world where my mother never sees my kids again. You keep saying my mother, I said. You know she's also the person who did this to me, right? I know, he said. And I hate it, but she's still my mom. So I drew my own line. No house visits, no phone calls, no, just say hi, no, just an hour. If he wanted to take my siblings, that was between him, them, and my mom. I was done being the accommodating oldest. Update 3. By 15, everybody except me had decided it was in the past. Not because anything was healed, just because people were tired. Max and Lucy went from terrified to compartmentalized. They still had the occasional nightmare, but they talked about Grandma's yard and Grandma's cookies, like it was normal. Dad and Grandma settled into a Cold War truce. He took them over for an hour every couple of Sundays. Mom tolerated it because fighting every time would have destroyed their marriage. And because I was old enough to refuse. I thought I'd walled it off. Grandma existed over there on specific weekends, not here in my phone. Then she discovered the internet. I found out at my cousin Holly's house. We were studying, which meant scrolling and gossiping. My notifications pinged. Holly, is this your grandma? She'd sent a screenshot from a Facebook mom support group and a Reddit cross post. The profile picture was unmistakable. Linda in her church blouse. The Reddit title, Am I the jerk for being cut off from my grandkids after I tried to prepare them for life's realities? I clicked. It was a funhouse mirror version of my life. Anxious, DIL, son caught in the middle, grandma from a different generation, parents at a wedding, kids asking what if, grandma only speaking in hypotheticals. She even used our real names like we were characters, not children. She left out the room-to-room tour of our new lives. She left out, your parents are dead. She left out how long we cried. The comments were mixed. Some people were disgusted. Plenty weren't. Overreaction from an anxious DIL. Kids are resilient. I'd fight for grandparents' rights. Reading those, my face burned. I'd spent years piecing myself back together, and now my worst memory was content. I went home and shoved my phone at my dad. Read this. He scrolled. Confusion, recognition, anger, shame, then that tired resignation he always lands on. She posted this? He asked. Yes, I said. And people are telling her to lawyer up to get us back. He rubbed his face. I'll talk to her. I laughed and it came out ugly. Like you talked to her after she killed us off for a weekend? I can't control what she posts online, he snapped. But you can control whether you keep giving her material, I said. You keep bringing Max and Lucy over there. You keep handing her our lives. She's lonely, he said. She's old. She's scared of dying alone. And I was 8, I said. And I was scared of you dying on a highway. Everyone is so worried about her feelings. Mine never got to come first. He promised to tell her to take it down. She did, after crying and claiming she didn't realize it would hurt. It didn't matter. Screenshots exist. That night I Googled defamation for the first time, fell down a rabbit hole of half-truths and reputations, and something clicked. I booked time with my guidance counselor. I'm thinking about law, I said. Not criminal, more people lying about other people and it actually mattering. She smiled. You like arguing. Law makes sense. I didn't tell her it wasn't about liking arguments. It was about wanting tools. Update 4. I got my first college acceptance on the same day my grandmother went into the hospital. Friday in March of senior year. Big white envelope on the table, my mom hovering, trying not to look too excited. Open it, she said. Congratulations, huge letters, pre-law track, first choice. For a few seconds, nothing else existed. I was getting out of the house where every room had leftover yelling in the walls, out of the town where every grocery aisle had someone with an opinion about my family. Dad came in from the garage. Mom said, smiling properly for the first time in weeks. She got in, first choice. He hugged me. I hugged him back. For a moment, we were just dad and daughter again. I'm proud of you, kiddo, he said. I believed him. That made the next part worse. An hour later, his phone rang. He glanced at the screen, and his face did that thing it does when it's her side of the family. He stepped into the hallway. Mom and I traded a look. When he came back, his expression was tight. That was Aunt Karen, he said. Mom's in the hospital. Minor stroke, they think. My first reaction was my stomach dropping. I didn't want her to die. Human brains are bad at holding, you damaged me, and I don't want you dead at the same time. My second reaction was anger because I could hear the guilt machine warming up. I'm going to see her, Dad said. It's serious, but not critical. She's asking about you guys. Of course she was. Mom crossed her arms. I'll stay home with Max and Lucy, she said. You do what you need to do. Dad looked at me. You don't have to come, he said, in the tone that means he really wants me to. Just to the hospital, you don't have to hug her. But if this gets worse, you might want to say goodbye on your terms. I said my goodbye when I was 8, I said. I thought she'd killed you. That felt final. She's had time to think, he said. She's calmer now. She's proud you got into college, you know. I told her. I laughed sharp. Of course you did. The woman who made my trauma a Reddit post gets front row seats to my wins. She asked how you were, he said. I'm not going to lie. That's your problem, I said. You think not lying means she's entitled to everything. Mom touched my arm. You don't have to decide right this second, she said. But we all knew I did, because once the aunts and cousins got involved, it would be a tidal wave of guilt. I looked at Dad. Do you want me there? I asked. Or does she? Both, he said. I want peace. I don't want you carrying this forever, and she wants to make amends. Has she ever actually said, I'm sorry I told you your parents were dead? I asked. Those words, not, I'm sorry you were scared. He didn't answer. I'm not going, I said. If she gets better, she'll be the same person. If she doesn't, I'm not erasing 12 years because she's in a hospital gown. His eyes were wet. You'll regret it, he said quietly. I already regret plenty, I said. I regret you took them back behind Mom's back. I regret you handed your phone to Max at the park so she could beg a child for reassurance. I regret that when you saw her post, your first instinct was to talk to her instead of asking what it did to me. He sat down hard. I'm trying to keep everyone from shattering. I shattered at 8, I said. You're just sweeping around the pieces. He went to the hospital. Mom stayed home. The house felt like it was holding its breath. I could have spent the evening spiraling. Instead, I opened the blank document for a scholarship essay I still had to submit. The prompt was bland. A challenge you've overcome. I'd been trying to write something safe about time management and anxiety. Now I wrote about being 8 and grieving parents who weren't dead. About the moment they walked back through the door and grief turned into humiliation. About realizing someone who was supposed to protect me had used my terror as material. I want to go into law, I typed, because I'm interested in what we can and can't do when someone's version of events becomes more real to the world than the truth. By the time Dad came home, I had 3 pages. The doctors are optimistic, he told Mom. Small stroke, limited damage. She cried. She asked about the kids. She asked about you. She wants to make amends before it's too late. I realized something in that moment. His emergencies are not automatically mine. I hope she has a long recovery, I said. I still don't want a relationship with her. He stared like he didn't recognize me. So that's it? I'm done letting her into my head, I said. I'm done auditioning for Forgiving Granddaughter so everyone else can feel better. He nodded, numb, like he filed it under problems I can't fix. We've had a limping surface level relationship ever since. He helps with practical stuff. We can talk about weather and grades, but the minute his mother's shadow crosses the conversation, we're back at war. Final update 6 months later. 6 months ago, my life shrank down to two things: my college acceptance and my grandmother's stroke. Now the split is different. Before and after, I finally understood that her story is never going to be mine again. After is a dorm room 2 hours from home, a pile of legal studies readings on my desk, and the quiet knowledge that my grandmother's drama no longer runs my schedule. First, she didn't die. The stroke was small. The doctors were competent. She was stubborn. She recovered enough to complain about rehab food and argue with nurses. They told her she can't live alone. Now she's in assisted living with floral curtains and group bingo and a courtyard where, I'm told, she sits and tells anyone who'll listen about her grandbabies. Dad visits once a week. My siblings go sometimes. Mom doesn't. I don't. Second, she tried one last time to pull me back into her script. About a month after she moved in, Dad drove down to take me to lunch. That's usually code for bad news. We sat in a diner near campus. He pushed fries around his plate, then slid an envelope across the table. She asked me to give you this, he said. You don't have to open it, but it's yours. My name was on the front in her careful handwriting. Full name, centered like a headline, the same way she used it online. Seeing it in ink made my hands go cold. I took it back to my dorm and opened it. 4 pages, front and back. My dearest first grandchild. Then, her health, her loneliness, how my mother had turned me against her, how she always did everything out of love, how she comes from a different generation. The closest thing to an apology was, I am sorry that you were scared, but I was only telling you the truth that life is fragile and trying to prepare you. Your mother wanted to shelter you. I wanted to make you strong. Maybe I went too far, but my heart was in the right place. Then the hook. Please don't let one misunderstanding steal your whole childhood away from me. I won't be here forever. You will feel awful if I die and you never made peace. I couldn't live with myself knowing that. I actually laughed. She was using my hypothetical future guilt to fix her current guilt. The last page was pure pressure. I held you as a baby. I baked you cookies. I watched your concerts. Come see me so I can die knowing you still love me. I finished and waited for a wave, rage or grief. Instead, I felt clear. There it was, in ink. I was only honest. I meant well. Your mother is the problem. You will regret this. Fix my feelings. No, I told a child her parents were dead. No, I walked her through her new orphan life. No, I turned it into a story for strangers online. Just, I'm lonely and you owe me. I put the pages back in the envelope and wrote on the front, under my name, read. No response. Next time Dad visited, I handed it back. She's going to ask if you answered, he said. You can tell her the truth, I said. She loves the truth. He winced, but he didn't argue. Third, school started. I'm a first-year undergrad with a heavy load and an intro legal studies course that feels like someone turned a fire hose on my brain. Last week, our professor introduced a unit on defamation. Today, she said, we're talking about what happens when someone's version of events harms someone else's reputation online, in a small town, in a family. The hypothetical might as well have been ripped from my grandmother's post. Older relative, controlling DIL, half-truths, missing context, ruined relationships. We broke into groups to argue both sides. When it was my turn, I heard myself say, calm and steady, even if you genuinely believe your story, that doesn't make it harmless. If you leave out key facts in a way that makes someone look unstable or abusive, that's not just your experience. That can be reputational harm. The professor nodded. Exactly. Intent and impact aren't the same. For the first time, instead of just feeling angry, I felt pointed. Like the mess might become something useful. I still have scars. I still text home if my mom's out late. I still freeze when someone starts a sentence with, if something ever happened to me. My relationship with my dad is basically administrative now. He helps with forms and car stuff. He and Mom are in couples therapy. She says he's gotten better about not smuggling his mother into every conversation. but I don't see a future where I fully trust him again. We work around that. The difference is, I've stopped treating that as a failing on my part. It's not my job to make it easy for him to be both a son and a father. He made his choices. I'm making mine. Right now, those choices look like no contact with my grandmother, limited surface level contact with my dad, a therapist who doesn't flinch when I say, I want to make a career out of this. One day, if I get my way, I'll be a lawyer whose job is to help people when someone else's story chews through their life. When that happens, it won't be because my grandmother made me strong. It will be because I refuse to keep living inside her version of what happened. She told me my parents were dead so she could audition as the hero of our tragedy. My name is Nina. I was the kid in her story, and I'm going to spend the rest of my life making sure that when people like her start rewriting reality, there's someone in the room who can say, calmly and clearly, that's not the whole story.